Hola.
Yeah, uyandiva?
Ya ndako. Yandiva wena?
Ndiva kakuhle ngoba ndabuza kaloku ndifundile impilo yakho i-volume yakho.
I think inoba yilabo beyeza ngulu.
Yeah, even yahamba le yahla ngokuhla qha yahamba lezantsi.
Kaloku bevutheli lawe bevutheli okapipe so noba bloke thina lawe.
Anyway, yayiyipoint yami mfethu.
Mm.
I thought there'd be someone here who's gonna join and tell us basically different view. Yeah, but because the only thing people are gonna have is a view. They will have no facts. Gender roles that's equal never works. It doesn't. Show me a state where it worked. It doesn't. But the problem is we are actually it's so painful that we know in the 100% of males we have, right? We will have,
Yeah.
we will have 75% of heterosexual males, né? And then 20% of homosexual males, and then 5% of bisexual. It's fine by calculation. There's no issue with that. And then within the 75% of heterosexual males, we'll have males that actually are suppressed to act their ability or their being because they're scared of something called toxic masculinity. When do we ever talk about toxic femininity? Because it's also there. Do they think, do you think females think that they're always right? That's another thing I always ask myself. As abantwana umuntu athetha kakhulu nje once umbuze kanye umphendulo kanye uresponde toxic. Do females think that they're always right when they say this thing? They don't think that there's no toxic femininity. Because there is toxic femininity as well. But guys are
But
not
yeah,
allowed to say that because they are afraid that they're gonna say no, toxic masculinity in a lab of going to child will respond. What?
I even think that the fact that those same people don't even allow you to speak or have an opinion about that is exactly the definition of toxic femininity.
And then there are guys who will support that. No, you see the
Stop.
females, you must, they will say you must be gentle. I'm like, by whose standards? Why am I being gentle? Why should she be honest? And then when she responds, it's called an emotional response. She was hurt. But when I do it, and then I'm being aggressive, I'm being bullying, I'm being patriarchic. We're both human beings, right? So the response should be acceptable both ways. Why, when she
What do
swears at
you
me,
what,
it shouldn't be seen as something wrong? It's just seen as an emotional response. But when I respond aggressively, it's not seen as an emotional response. It's seen as something else, something out of this world, something only animals would do, like baboons and lions, etc. Do you get what I'm
what do
saying?
you think what do you think is the reason for that? That you get some guys that will that would act exactly what you're saying now. Like they would protect a certain viewpoint over another instead of
Why?
actually just
Okay.
being
That
able
one,
to.
see that one. I read an article about that one after this thing of this girl was killed in a post office in Cape Town, right?
Yeah,
That one, I read an
yeah.
article on that one. Yeah. So number one reason, basically, most guys actually have been changed, but they're trying to please the idea, right? So what I mean
Why
by
is
that,
that?
yeah, I'm going at that. So the thing people are trying to please the idea, because umchita ufuna uthandwa ngamalady okanye ufuna uba politically correct. They don't care about
Yeah.
facts. They want to be political. They move with what most people do or want or agree in. Yeah, bo? And they want to look nice on the females or nice on the
Less
ladies.
hassle. They think it's less
Hmm?
hassle. They think it's
It's like
less
they
of a
want to let
hassle.
go. Once you stand up as a guy for females, how many females will gonna support you? How are you gonna look? You look as a hero against
Mm.
other males who go against what the females are saying. It's like saying basically, I must abandon my kind to be with the opposition.
It's like a sexual selection trick.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like if I say this or I act like this as a male supporting females fighting against my kind or fighting against my people, actually I'm looking like a hero. Everybody's gonna love me. Everybody's gonna respect me. Do you get what I'm saying? Actually, do you know that there is one of these feminist definitions? I'm not sure which one is it. I'll check it again. But they talk about this group sees people, yeah, that's the word I did. It's lesbianism, it's political lesbianism and syllable. So what they view is, it's under feminist as well. They view as dating males as basically going against your kind or betraying your group. That's why it's political lesbianism. I think that's the word. Yeah, but that's why this is a group of people basically where people who are female. That's what I really don't like about this thing of about being lesbian and gays and stuff. Sometimes they say because we are lesbian or we are gay, we are not defeating or actually are going against our group or our belief system. We are within our group. So most people who are actually lesbian, they actually hate heterosexual guys, or they are aggressive against heterosexual guys, but they are not aggressive against heterosexual females. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like me saying, when you ask me who's the best player in the world, you didn't mention anything. You just asked me who's the best player in the world. Instead of telling you, I think it's Ronaldo of 1, 2, 3, I'll say it's not Messi. And then I go, oh, no, it's not Messi. Then I tell you it's Ronaldo. Because Ronaldo has more goals than Messi. Ronaldo has more assists than Messi. But you didn't ask me that. You didn't ask me, is Ronaldo better than Messi? You just asked me who's the best player in the world. I'm supposed to answer you on based who I choose to be the best player in the world. Not compare them with anyone. That's a good example. That's one example. The other example is, it's when you are in the opposition, but you see something good by someone. For example, I don't have to like Julius Malema, right? But he has fucking good points sometimes. I don't like him, but he has fucking good points, and I have to agree to that. You don't have to. You don't have to like. The only thing you have to do is to respect a person. You don't have to like them. Like, I actually don't care about you not liking me. I'm happy. I know I'm a good person. I do what's good every day. I don't want to expect people to like me. If I'm saving someone's life, basically, I'm not expected to be liked. I do what I'm supposed to do. I did a tough decision. Yeah, but I did not supposed to be. I don't want to be liked. I don't expect to be liked. I don't care about being liked. We can go to work together, even if we don't speak to each other socially. But as long as you respect me, we're gonna do a great job. We will progress as a country. People don't understand. I don't have to like someone to agree or to support them. To them saying in the idea, someone might be someone who hated me because I was good at soccer or something. But if they come here, listen, I've got a plan to eradicate poverty in the black community, or to eradicate crime in this area. Because I don't like them, I mustn't support them, or I mustn't agree with them, I mustn't say they could have a good point. Yeah, but same thing with feminists. You see that most people actually don't want equality. They want something better for females. That's not feminism. That's biased. That's not feminism. You're not balancing anything. You're making more for females than males. That's not right. That's not making any sense. Yeah, but because you're supposed to create equal opportunities, right? But when you want more of this than males, it makes no sense. It defeats the whole purpose.
Unless at least the least you can do is to then say that that's what you're trying to do.
And then we will categorize. You don't want to be categorized, You
Yeah,
know,
so at least if you don't say you're a feminist looking for equality, rather just say, look, I'm a feminist and I only fight for females to be better than men. Then say, well, okay, cool, no problem.
I think there's a term for that. I don't think there's a term for that. I think it's womanist or something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure, but there's a term for that. So basically, do you watch podcast? Matt G and Sol. Yeah, okay. This guys in podcast basically, they always raise these points basically about people owning what they do. For example, most guys in the industry, they use drugs, right? Recreational drugs like cocaine, Mandrax, etc. People will say, I know in the country they're using drugs, but except me. What? Nobody's owning that I was using drugs until people die. And then family comes out, we didn't tell you he was using drugs. Oh yeah, he was using drugs. After they die, why can't, if you are, it's like slave queen. People will do things that slave queens do, but they don't want to be categorized as queens because they are afraid of the pressure. It's females against females most of the time because they're the one who are judging the other females. Because the question I always ask people when they start judging people, I'm asking one thing. Do you think prostitution should be legalized? You get what I'm saying? Think about that question. Do you think prostitution should be legalized? Because the definition of patriarchy actually came from that. It came from rape, violence, and undermining women and something else, right? And it was because males who were actually working class were buying prostitutes who basically most of them were females. So therefore that industry was more females and it looked like males were doing it as they like because it was illegal. So therefore, to make it better or fair for females who are saying this abuse of prostitutes, they are females, and they don't say prostitute, don't say females, because most of them are females. Females or girls are neglected because they are females. That's another form of patriarchy. So are you saying prostitution should be legalized to make things fair? Right? So if you are saying that prostitution should be legalized, what is the angle basically of goodness or of approach of view of the country to progress towards the direction that you say you want to empower women? So you are in the middle now. It's crazy because if you don't legalize it, men are going to continue doing what you don't like, right? Which is basically acting in a sense of patriarchy, buying these females undercover, right? And then if you say it should be legalized, now again politically you are not correct because now it looks like now I'm saying this thing should be legalized, and now I'm saying it must be legalized. I'm also promoting an angle of approach which I don't want to promote. Yeah, but which is basically sex is also another form of work. That's not empowerment to females. That's not empowerment at all. But now you are in the middle. You are a female to make that decision. You get what I'm saying? People don't want to make tough decisions, but they want decisions to be made. And if you make it, they judge you after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. People don't make the tough decision. They want decisions to be made, but when you make a decision, they want to judge you for making that decision. But nobody could make a decision at the time. Nobody was bold enough to make that. Because there are sometimes where it's a one or two way. There is a third way. For example, it's like this thing of in court. If you kill someone in defense, you don't get arrested. As long as there's evidence of defense. For example, the other my friend is a lawyer. One of the things is one step, one gunshot, one hit, a form of defense. Right? Because it's not multiple. You were not aggressive, you're not going towards, and the person was coming towards you. You were not provoked, you were not hidden agenda, things like that. In self-defense, because in that situation, there's two things only: kill or be killed. Simple and straight. What you're gonna do as a guy, you come with me, you're carrying a knife. I've got a face prick on my hand. What should I do? There's nothing, there's no way to run, there's a wall behind me. The only option I have is to allow you to kill me or kill you. People who are not there will jump to charge. You should have thrown the stone on his leg. He was not going to be able to work. What if you missed? You've got no opportunity now of running. He's going to kill you for sure. Do you get what I'm saying? So no females want to make the decision, but they want some people to take a decision and then they want to charge them after that. Which is bullshit. It's about bullshit. I don't care how you feel. I'm talking about the decision you're supposed to make at that time. Don't tell me you could have thought about the family, especially the family, especially got friends, especially in the bright future. I don't care about that. Just that you choose the point where you make a decision at the point. And you can't run away from it. You must make the decision. Don't tell me about how you felt or how you think I felt or should have thought of. I didn't think like that. And the decision I made was best at that time. Yeah, but that's the thing. So the thing that going to the same thing again. I want anyone who's gonna come and tell me gender roles are not nice because of what? And bring me evidence. Don't tell me you feel like I don't feel like the way you feel. I don't want to feel the way you feel. Just bring me facts. Yeah, well, don't tell me how you feel now. Yeah. Tell me how I feel. I feel like the thing is feelings. I feel like
I just want to let the man speak, you know.
Maybe we can talk about feelings then. The whole day.
Okay. Have your say, boy. What do you want to say, boy?
Nah, I just entered.
Yeah.
At least give me like a brief briefing about what you guys were talking about. What started the conversation?
We were talking about gender roles to begin with.
Sorry?
We were talking about gender roles to begin with.
And what's the argument?
You know how it is, but you go straight into it. There's no soft spots yet.
He was not listening. This guy, he was not listening at all.
No, He's scared. He's not. He's afraid. He wants to tread carefully. You know how it is, your boy. It's gloves off. Not even gloves on. Gloves off. It's bare knuckle fighting, boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were talking about generals, and my man was saying that there can be no way that generals could be equal, because at the end of the day, there's things that need to be done. So the best people that need to do those things do those things. So if you're good at doing this thing, then do that thing. If it just so happens that then you're a female or you're a male and you're better off doing that thing, then do that thing. But we can't both be doing the same thing just because that then you want to then say that no, we need to be equal. You can't both be washing the dishes. One has to wash the dishes and one can then wipe them. But we can't have all four hands in the actual sink, because then it's not practical. So, yeah. Wait, there's someone else. Wait, just wait before you go on, boy. There's someone else. This is gonna be nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
let me take the seatbelt off.
there we go, boy. There we go, boy.
Let me get a bit more comfortable.
The seatbelt is inhibiting me from speaking. It's a must.
Yeah. It's time argument time, bro. It's argument time. Let me get more serious, you know.
Wait, I'm trying to get beat on. Yeah, so basically, yeah, she's gonna come on.
Someone is calling me on the side. Someone is calling me, and they're continuously calling me.
Just decline the call, boy. This one you don't want to miss.
Yeah, he's gonna get it.
That person is very, very important. I'm trying to add her. Yeah. Just wait. This is one of my favorite people to speak to. There she is.
Oh, here. Now the argument begins.
Where's your face? Can't see
Hello.
you.
Hi, what are you guys talking about? Sorry.
Can't see you. Bring your camera around.
You cannot see me?
No,
I can see you.
Yeah.
I can't see you. Your
I can
screen's
see
dark.
you. I can see you from my side.
Yeah, I can as well.
B, just try to block your video and unblock it, or switch your camera around.
I don't know how.
Things I'm playing here on the TV as well. That's the reason. Maybe that's the reason why it's not all thingy. Do you see? I'm playing the TV like this.
It deserves to be live, bro.
My man's done fucking professional shit.
Okay, that's fine. If you guys can see it, that's fine. Man. I can't see it. I think maybe it's my network. Maybe when I share this, it'll be open. But anyway, B, so you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, super. Finally, we've get to have you for round 2.
No, I think it's a setting. I was playing on the TV.
Nah, doubt it. Okay, B.
Yeah.
So we were talking about gender roles and about the fact that there can be no. Okay, B, do you want to explain it since you said it? Mr. B.
Okay, wait. I can't hear you.
Yeah?
I think there's any.
Mr. B, do you want to explain it or do you want me to explain it since you said it?
Just explain. I'll hear. Just explain.
Okay, so B, we were talking about gender roles and how in any relationship you can never reach equality when it comes to gender roles, because at some point there has to be someone that does one thing and there has to be someone that does something else. So you cannot have both people sweeping the what do you call it? The floor, for example, or cutting the grass, because it wouldn't be practical. Someone needs to cut the grass and someone needs to throw shit away, or someone needs to mop and someone needs to do something else practically for whatever situation that you guys have. So there's never a point where you can reach equality like that between genders where you're both doing the same thing. So yeah, is that good, B?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So basically,
What do
what
you
I'm
have to
trying to
say
say
to
is
that?
there should always be gender roles, right? And gender roles will never be equal. That's the final line. What I do for you as my girlfriend or as a partner or as a society, they will never be equal, basically, in any way possible. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So what are you
Oh,
saying?
hey, you're quiet.
No, can I just listen? Can I just listen to you guys talk?
If you want to listen, you might as well get off then and listen, and then the reporter can come on.
I didn't want to get on. You guys aided me. I just wanted to
Well, if you
listen.
don't,
Huh?
that's fine. If you want, what I'm saying is, if you want to listen, that's fine. You can be off and listen, and then I can just add a reporter. And then if you want to talk,
Okay.
then someone else can go off. And...
Poncho. Add him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, then you have to go off.
Me?
No, man, she's also B, not you.
Hey,
Oh,
You
why is it
Mr.
going
B.
off
She's
now?
Mr. B. I
Why
don't
is
know.
it going off?
Maybe it's the It's the patriarchy. So I'm able to see Upoto, but I wasn't able to see B. Maybe my phone is patriarchal as well.
Yeah. No, I think we should embrace patriarch. I embrace it. I embrace it. I'm happy. I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
But
thing.
anyway, yeah. So yeah, I mean, we've talked enough.
Yeah.
Me and you, Upoto, and I think everything that Mr. B was saying is pretty much everything that you've been saying as well. That the equality is something that shouldn't be reached. It's something that cannot be reached, and you shouldn't actually try to reach it. Yeah, basically that, especially when it comes to relationships of any sort. It's like if things need to be done, they need to be done. Even if it's like a lesbian or gay relationship, like it doesn't really matter the gender per se. It's the gender role that makes the difference. So it's like you can't both be doing the exact same thing.
Thank you.
You see, it's the role. It's got nothing to do with it's got nothing. It's not equal until it's beneficial to either party. But yeah, it's got nothing to do with. It's like again, even if you're in a lesbian relationship and you're both female, one of them needs to do something and the other of you needs to do something else. You can't then just say, "Oh, well, we're both female. We're both going to do the same thing." Then who's going to do something else? Because the responsibility is always going to be there, and then you need to then decide who's best to do those responsibilities. And whoever then does those responsibilities that's best at doing them does them. You're not going to want to have someone that doesn't want to do something do it, because then they won't do it properly. And then you're going to end up having that thing not done, or you're going to have to end up doing it yourself. It's like work.
I think part of the reasons why I'm very, very supportive of the gender roles is that they clear out confusion. They clear out confusion, because if you say that there are no gender roles, that's like going into a company and say that all these employees are equal. All employees are equal. There's no rule. There's no manager. There's no specific rules. Everyone can do. We are all in this together. Then we should all work together. And then. Whenever people say that in a meeting or in anything, that's basically also one of the reasons why the political parties in our country are pretty much fucked up. Why? Because they all want to be equal. And that's also the reason why the girls trips, those trips that get organized, and then by 50 people at the beginning, and then by the time it's time to actually go, there's only
By the time they leave, it's
3 people that go. That's exactly
only going.
that's exactly what happens when there are no rules. Because when there are no rules, then that means there are no responsibilities. That is the problem. And then for anything to happen, for any progress to happen in any group, there has to be responsibilities. There has to be someone who accounts and says, okay, we said you are going to do this, and then this is not done, or why is this not done? And then that person must be able to give an answer and not say that, you could have done it because it's fluid. It's fluid. So, it's fluid. Anyone can do it. No. It does. I think I've also made it very clear in my life that I don't subscribe to the gender role, to the whole gender role narrative. You do this and then I do this. That's no space. I'm not gonna disturb you in whatever that happens there, and then you do that and I'll do this, and then I'm happy with that.
So it's like what I was saying, basically, people want to, or not people, but mostly females, what they want is, they want everything to be non-gender role based when it benefits them. So I made an example here with Lungelo. I'm like, I'm going to do the stuff that I know I can do better than you to benefit both of us, right? That's number one. And then in order to do that, you must do the things that you know that you are good at. That's going to benefit both of us. But now, why would I go and cook if I know I'm going to take 3 hours to cook something that won't be well made, that can cause problems with us in the stomach or the children I'm with? And because now you said you are tired, or it should be done by anyone. Same thing with protection, right? With opening doors, all those things. That are things that guys are supposed to do, right? But now, if you look at feminists, they'll tell you, no, it's not supposed to be a guy. I can do it. But when you move back and expect a girl to open for you, they'll look like you're an ass. Imagine a guy, you are in the car, the girl's supposed to come and open the door for you. That makes no sense. Yeah, but that's what they call.
I think also,
the issue of opening doors currently, it's dead. And I don't think any man should actually do that. It's currently dead, because that was done when all the people in the community understood that they had.
Elungelo malutavane uthi amachere abila impundi xa kuthetha amadoda.
So as I was saying, it was something that was done when all members of the society understood that they had duty to one another. For example, by all members of society, I mean all people. I mean, from the child knew that you cannot smoke any nyaupe. You cannot walk around smoking nyaupe. Why? Because any person, any elderly person is your parent, and technically they've got duty over you. They've got duty to make sure that you are also a good member of the society, even if you are a child. And then even with the guys, for example, it was in the time whereby men, they also understood their role in the society, that okay, we are the protectors of the society, we help the weak, and then when someone has a problem, we go there and then we help. We dig graves for the dead women in the society when they are dead. And then it was something that was understood. And then it's actually still there in the rural areas, because you can see, okay, there the gender roles are also still clearly defined. That you know that the men are gonna be doing this Esbain, and then the women are gonna be doing this Esbain. Basically, they just take feminism and everything, wrap it around and throw it in the bin and then flush it. And then from there, and then even the feminists, they don't complain when they are that side. So there are gender roles. Everyone understands that. But then right now, if you come to the city, okay, for example, again, so it was not only an issue of oh, this is my woman, then I can open the door for my woman. Why? Because even the woman didn't think like that when it was time to serve you. And then even if it was another person's woman, and then they knew that, okay, we have got a duty to make sure that Abu Baba badlile, Abu Baba bakile, or yeah, they understood that. But then right now, it's tricky because you can do it and then someone can slap you for doing it, and then I'm clear to know you think I can't open my own door. You think I can't open my own door? You're busy. And then again, if you don't do it now, if you don't hold it, it's and then that's another problem again. So I think people right now, we have been so individualized in such a way that whatever you do, you have to focus only on your own family. For example, you cannot tell your neighbor that her daughter is busy. We are all apart, and she's gonna get pregnant very soon. You can't tell her that because you enter nowhere there. But before then you could, because you understood, this is a child, and then this is a child, and also you have a responsibility to this child as an elderly person. But now they will tell you, okay, you don't touch my kid, and then which of course you can't. And then because you don't touch my kid, you also don't owe me any chivalry.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely.
Yeah, man.
So that's the point I was saying that the society, things have changed over the past a lot, right? And it's changed for the worst, not for the good, for the worst actually. Because if you look at discipline, right? In 2004, Kader Assman stopped something called corporal punishment, right? Which is basically Bushra Sunday, SKL. After that happened, crime went up. People focused on life more than they want the responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? There wasn't an idea how to alter the stoppage of discipline by black people. There was only a solution from an Indian white person who said, listen, corporal punishment is good. Now we're going to use what? Grounding. So therefore, I'm going to do is I will ground you for 2 days. But how can you ground a black person? There's one room, there's 4 kids. Where are you going to ground them?
Why? No, besides, does grounding even really work? I just wanna, does that work, guys? Does grounding work? Because I don't think
I wouldn't know, but I wouldn't know. I need someone that's
on me. because if you ground me, I not spending time alone. I mean, if you say, oh, okay, you're good, I'll probably find something fun to do while I'm. Does it really? So yeah.
Yeah, man.
Why did you run now?
Nelungelo,
I don't know.
did you scare her? Yeah.
Eh?
No, I'm asking, why did she run now? Why is she running away?
I don't know, bro. It's probably. I mean, isn't that the theme that I'll say whatever I want to say, whether it makes sense or not. But I'll try to confuse you. But as soon as I think that I have to be responsible for my words, I have to be responsible for the things that I say, then I'm not going to say anything.
I don't want her to say toxic masculinity. Because we are inviting her to
I see Moses that's making doesn't really work either. But I'm not so sure if I agree with her there. I'm not really sure, but I know that for a lot of things that I got smacked for, I tried not to repeat them. That's what I know.
Me too. Pain is universal. If you control people of pain is universal.
It's the language that everyone understands.
That's how they use it in torture.
Huh?
That's how they use it for torture.
Exactly.
No, exactly. Soldiers are trained through pain.
No.
You go to hospital when you feel pain is not ending. You think a kid is resist pain? Never. You get betrayed.
Yeah.
For me,
I think
when I was young, I actually still sugar. Amanzi swekile. Indubela. Tabo zebasola kulo
Yeah.
sonka.
yeah.
So if for the papa, it's sort of for papa going to develop early because then sikiswekile, then amanzi swekile and sonka. Okanye, we call it drink and if you need drink, amanzi swekile. Because if you sweet, abengangathi. Dabethwe ekhaya. Zange ndaphinda. Even nangoku ndiyayicaphela amanzi swekile nangoku. Kodwa bethoka kakhulu greatly old. Nxa into leyo. Yabo. So every time I want to do something, I'm like, fuck. The result is pain, and pain is pain.
Yeah. I'm now distracted by most comments here. Oh, she says, oh no, it doesn't. There are humans who were smacked and then became criminals, became serious criminals. Okay, Mo. There are people. There's many people who were never smacked and then became more.
Thank you.
They became more. And then the thing is, if you are not smacked, if you were not smacked, it's fine. Then you can say. But then the thing is that the people, you're gonna get smacked by the police, and then now it's already too late. Or you're gonna get smacked by some random guy who doesn't like how you talk to him, and then you're gonna lose your teeth just for disrespecting him. So I think it's good that people need to know that things don't always go their way, and then pain is there to remind people that no, man, you can't. That's why it's used universally. You cannot say that it's only. In fact, it's only recently that people realize that no, pain is not so good.
No, here's the thing
but I
to
mean,
understand. People
That's what war is, right? War is exactly that. Like, Putin can say what he wants to Ukraine, but as soon as they don't listen, what does he do? I'm going to invade and I'm going to use physical force. It's not like because he wants to do it, but it's like, look, pain makes a difference.
Yes.
It's the reason why you go to hospital. Like guys will never go to hospital ever in their entire lives until their neck is sore and they have a headache.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then they go, yes, no,
I want
no,
to
terrible.
respond to this one more quickly. So the thing is, we must understand, we're not saying corporal punishment is 100%, but it's better than being grounded. It's very better than being grounded. Grounded, you can stay in your room, open your computer, and do the things that you don't want to do. Open the magazine, things like that. You understand? So corporal punishment was way better for us. I'm not talking about other people, but for us, people who have no means to do those kind of punishments that are very kind of rich based. Stand outside. You stand outside the car, so you get robbed. You can't just say that stand outside for 1 hour. The car, you stand outside, you come back without clothes. Yeah, but the practicality was not applied. They didn't think about it.
And then you get smacked for not having clothes.
You sold them.
Yeah, but
you send them outside. You send them outside to cool off. They get robbed. They come back inside the house, and then they get smacked for having their things robbed off them.
Yeah, but I think I also think that there's also maybe a reason behind the fact that the people who are mostly against corporal punishment or use of force or use of pain are mostly women. Why also? Because whenever violence happens between women, it's never fatal. But then when violence happens between men and men, it does not happen often. But then when it happens, there's also a risk of death there. There's also a risk of serious destruction. That's why for young boys it is very important for them to learn this very early, so that they can then be able to understand that this is a serious and a very, very, very dangerous form of power, and then which should be used in moderation. And then that's why it should be used in moderation, because remember, even the government, by the fact that the governments or the nations have military, it's because they want to have organized violence. It's organized. It's basically organized violence. The military, the police, those are organized violence. So you want people to learn quickly that violence is useful, but then it needs to be organized. And then because it needs to be organized, it also needs to be used only when necessary. And there are cases whereby it is very, very necessary to use violence.
Let me give you a quick example. If someone or something is not getting solved any level, at home, at school, in a community, in parliament, what do they use? What's the final verdict? It's to involve what? Policemen, soldiers, because they can control you nice and easy, quickly. That's the idea that our parents showed us. Listen, if I talk to you, don't listen. That was the warning I was giving you, that now I will actively massage you. Yeah, but you will feel my presence. Yeah, but primary school, even in parliament, even with the president, he knows the solution for this: bring the police. Become solved, simple and straight. Bring the private security. So to say that corporal punishment didn't work is I don't understand. It worked with me, it worked with my bigger brother, it worked with other people. It won't work 100%, but it's better than nothing.
No, the problem is that the state wants to have a monopoly over it. The state wants to be the only one that can actually have monopoly over it. But then every person in a position of a certain power needs to be able to be in control, to be able to use, to access that resource, because it's a violence in itself. It's a great resource for power. That's why in fact, for you to actually have a nation, you need to be able to have what? You need to have a military, then you need to have a tax collector, you need to have law enforcers. And then those are the three pillars of a nation. Well, now we can now decide how because some nations or some leaders you find that they now overuse the other one. They use too much violence, and then too much violence, and then now everything becomes a violent state or a dictatorship state or some sort. And then, or they don't use too much violence, then they overtax people, and then it becomes another problem again. Find that people are paying huge taxes. But then all these powers, they should also be all these powers. As a parent, you should also have a certain power to say, oh, okay, your child. Because the thing is that people don't really people don't really take rules after some time. Once they get comfortable, they don't take rules, especially if they don't fear you. So there has to be a small level of fear that, well, let me not say small, let me say moderate.
Not small.
Yeah,
big.
I don't.
It needs to be enough, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because not having power over violence or access to violence, then it means you are harmless. It means you are harmless and you are weak, and then everyone can come. Someone can just come, and then, which is why, for example, you as a man, you need to have a firearm in your house, and because what are you gonna do when someone comes and then invades your house? Are you gonna cry? Are you gonna scream like a chicken when another man? Are you gonna scream like a chicken? Of course, you need that, and then, well, again, it needs to be controlled. It needs to be in moderation. For example, you cannot be holding nuclear weapons in your house there, and then it's wrong. But then there has to be.
You know what he's saying. You know what he's saying. There's a guy who's a psychologist from Canada, Jordan Peterson. He puts it this way. I'm gonna quote exactly what he says. He says, "You have to be dangerous. As a man, you have to be dangerous." But at the same time, you must be able to control that danger.
Exactly.
If you are soft as a male, you become a problem. You have to be dangerous, but you have to be able to control that anger or that danger. Yeah, Bo.
Yeah, look, you even have that. I mean, look, if you think about it, you even have stuff like that, even at workplaces where they don't even know you that personally. Like if you do something wrong, like this, that situation with Amnana with 14 million, it's like whoever sent that money by mistake, there has to be something to reprimand them. It's like you're not going to just say, hey, don't do it again, because then they won't listen to you. They can do it again tomorrow. So there has to be a reprimand. Then you take it up further. You have a first a verbal warning, or then a written warning, and then an actual whatever. Then you take action, whatever action that you do take. But obviously, then at a job, you can't then take physical action. Obviously, if it's a job like that, you can't take physical action, but you escalate it to a point where then you can take it to the police station or whatever it is. That person will then be jailed for it. So you still have to escalate it to a point. You still have to have that certain level of, listen, I know that you can listen. I know you can hear me, and I hope you always do. But if you don't, this is the bad thing. Or these are the things that will happen if you don't listen to me. So when it comes to people in general, you don't have time to be writing verbal warnings and written warnings and so on. So it's like, Mamela Feto, I'm speaking to you. I don't like what you're saying. I've told you this, right? And if you say it again, I'm going to punch you in the face. Or you already know from your past experiences that there's certain things that when you do, there's no written warnings. You go straight to being fired. So therefore, in society, you go straight for being punched in the mouth. So that always has to be there. It doesn't mean that then you don't use it or you don't have it. It always has to be there. So when it does happen, you can then enforce that.
I think another thing is that I'm going to refer to Mo again. The funny thing is that the people who say, the people who say things like violence doesn't, like for example, corporal punishment or violence doesn't help. They are the first ones to call the police. When
yes, oh, they're the first ones to call. They're the first ones to call someone else to come and beat that person up.
And they're calling the police to come and feed this guy's cupcakes or to massage him. Are you what? So they're the first ones to call the police. And then you have to say, oh, okay, if you say violence is so bad, why are you calling people with guns?
Yeah, why
police don't walk around. They come there with guns, something that has got the power to take your life. And then you call this and you say that I was just merely punching you, and then you call someone with a bigger gun, with a big gun, and then you say that violence is bad at the end of the day. So so I think that is my conflict there with what Mo is saying, that they don't understand that they are also the ones that they say that violence is bad, corporal punishment is bad, but then they call the cops when something happens, when violence happens. And then the police are not.
No, on top of that, I mean, that goes back to the other conversation I was having about the fact that, like, for the guys generally, and the females as well, they get triggered easily in terms of getting into violent situations. That's the one thing that you have to be careful of, is that the people that put you on the situations are people that would not do them themselves because they understand what happens as a consequence of doing that. So then they'll say to you, etc., Mr. P, hey, this guy's troubling me. Can you please sort him out for me? And then all of a sudden what happens is then you go and you punch that guy, and then that guy comes, he doesn't sue the person that told you, he sues you, and then you pay for it. And then that person will then say, hey man, I'm sorry man, I didn't mean, like, you should have just gone roughing him up. And it's like, I work sir, but I thought, like, this is what you wanted me to do. But now that you have to face the consequences, you face them alone. So to everyone that then gets into situations like that are very quick to hit or quick to use violence, which is fine, be mindful that the people that put you in these positions generally understand fully why they would not do it. And it's not that they're scared most of the time. They do know, they do have it in them, but they don't have the same level that you have. So then they'll say to you, okay, cool, you know what, go out there and go beat this person up for me. And then when you beat this person up for me, then I'll say to you, thank you very much. And then that person wakes up the next day and says, okay, well, I'm going to go press charges. They don't say, no, I'm going to go press charges on the person that told you to beat me up. They press charges on you. Then you land up in a gown. And then as soon as that happens, the person that told you to go and hurt that person will then just come to you and say, hey, look, here's money for airtime, or here's money for cigarettes in the jail cell, and I'm sorry for doing or for telling you to go hit that person. That's it.
That's what I told my cousin sister Elungelo when she told me that my boyfriend is beating her up. I must go and beat the boyfriend. I told her, what? Are we going to go and beat your boyfriend? Why did you call the police? Aye, abazombecha, bazombamba. So you want me to go and assault him directly? And then me going and getting
And the people that are designed, the people that have jobs to actually do those things wouldn't do it. What makes you think that I should be doing it?
You know that there's a reason. There's a good reason. Like, for example, right now, if you listen throughout history, you will hear that a lot of women will tell you about a lot of women and a lot of female historians, or even the what you call the social justice warriors and all these nice cool people that just recently popped out of nowhere. They will normally tell you things like, they will normally mention the issue of women not having the right to vote as if it was a bad thing. But then if you actually read through history, you will find out that the women were not allowed to vote not because of oppression. Well, they might have graduated to that at a later stage, but then initially they were not allowed to vote, not that, but because sometimes votes were actually part of the decision, where the council has to decide whether are we going to go to war or not, and then the votes will be for war or for not for war. And then men used to go there and die. So do you really want people who are not going to be sitting here at home to decide on the people that are going to die, to vote and then decide, okay, that these people are going to die? Or do you want another man who's going to die next to you to be the one deciding whether you're going to die or not? So that was one of the reasons. And then that's also why women were not allowed, because, okay, you don't fight. And then if we go there and then we lose, these guys are going to come here with our heads, holding our heads and our scalps. And then they're going to look sexy in your eyes because they beat your men. And then nature is going to tell you, no, this is the guy that you should have been with in the first place. And then you look at this guy and have his kids. And then have his kids and then give him many babies. And then from there, my lineage is gonna be wiped out. Like my DNA is gonna be wiped out, and then from there, then this guy is gonna come, and then so in such decisions, you really cannot allow people who are not going to be involved by the consequence, who are not going to be affected by the consequences of what you are going to do, to be the ones voting. Of course, and then as the system got corrupt, and then they started not including them in other things. But then, if you think about it, if the four of us are on a mission to go and then do a certain thing that's dangerous, do you really want someone who's sitting at home to then decide if we should go or not, or do you want me or you who are planning to go then to then decide? So that's one of the reasons. And then that fact is almost hidden in history, so that men can always appear as if they were bad, and then they were always oppressive. But then it was actually also for the benefit of. I think it was said that they would say that they would decide that when they lose, and then maybe the ones that are not so hot, then they are not going to get picked by the best of the guys that side. And then it was a terrible situation in that case. But it's a very, very good reason why men were not allowing women to vote at the time, because they understood that you cannot. Let's say we all vote. 10 people vote, and then 5 of those are women, and then out of the 5 that are men, 2 men say that okay, we can go, and then 3 men say that no, we can't go, and then the 5 women say go. That means now we are gonna go now, because the women outvoted us, and then we are going to die, and then they're gonna have fun with the guys after we are dead. Because fun is gonna be dead. You see?
Hey, Lunga.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead.
I want to catch my body for the time for now.
I'll go ahead. But the people that you were supposed to talk to, I don't know, man. They're still on, but yeah,
But
at the answer phase. I think the problem is that the problem is that you said that you're coming with facts, and then they were like, yo, shit, I want someone that's gonna come with feelings. So then they were like, nah, let's leave it.
Even this one who's saying using violence against kids, there's no evidence, it's a feeling. She has no proof that it doesn't work. That's a problem. I can't argue with people who involve feelings in this thing. Yeah, because look at the arguments. I'm listening to her arguments here. The first point was like, listen, I'm against punishing someone for failing. Based on what? Using violence against kids. What does it do? What does it do? Not using corporal punishment at all does something. I've got evidence for that. Yeah, but that's the thing. The argument end up becoming very, I don't know if I say soft, rather more.
Look, she's saying that you should come back again. So after you left, after you are leaving, she wants to tell you to come back, but you're still here. She's not coming again.
Okay, I'm gonna come back. Then I'm gonna come back. I'll video call and I come back. I'm going to.
But that's what I'm saying. You're gonna come back to who? Because she's not gonna come back. You're gonna come back again.
The whole time.
Oh man, hey bro. Yeah, man. It's been a while. Mishka, I don't know. She's also a bit tentative.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she's doing her hair, doing her hijab. Maybe she's having
She's doing
iftar.
she's doing her things there.
Yeah. But yeah, man. It's quite a lot that we covered today.
Yeah.
It was like 2 lives actually.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of people came on and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, like I said to you before, I'm very keen to hear every single angle and every single rebuttal or yeah. I mean, the weird thing is that I hear it I see it on text, and I hear it on voice note, and then as soon as you have to be accountable for things that you say, I can never hear the other side. So it's tough.
Yeah.
We told Dee to come on. She came on, and then she said, "No, I want to listen to you." And I said, "But I'm always listening to you when you speak. So speak what you were saying." Yeah, good.
B. Okay. I think B. I like B because the fact that she always finds a way. I think I like the fact that she always finds a way. She will always find a way, find a way to disagree. You see? And then she'll say something, and then you think, oh, I think the B didn't see that one. And then anything that you said that she wanted to disagree with, she will see. And then anything else, it's fine. You can.
She'll be a wonderful CEO.
Yeah, no, very, very, very good.
Yeah. Mishka wanted to come on. She's also it's all right, boy. Yeah, is anything else that you want to add? Is there anything that Mo wants to add from the comfort of her own bed? Vishal, do you want to come on? Don't say I don't invite you. This is also the thing, like, oh, I want to have a live with you. Let's talk about this. And then the live is happening, and then it's nah, not now. There's not much I can do after that.
Yeah, otherwise our things. It's work.
Yeah. No, they're good.
Yeah.
They're good, man. They're good. I mean, yeah, it's so funny because every time that we have conversations like this, you know, I go to work and I see it.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like it's always there, but because you don't pay attention to it and you pay attention to nonsense, you see it. It's the same thing when I chill with the boys. It's like it's just so evident that it's like it's weird how did I not see this? Or it's even worse when you look at other people and you go, how do they not see it? You know, but it's the reason why these conversations are so great for me, at least, because it's you legit, you can. My boy wants to come back.
No, you know there's something I want to talk about. You are in Saudi Arabia, right?
Close. I'm in Bahrain.
Oh, okay. And then how is the war, Russian war narrative like being that's like how
Cannot hear anything you say. Except Peter, switch off your speaker or your sound. Yeah, Pete. Oh, he's Mr. B, and then so he was gonna talk to Mrs. B.
I think there's got problems outside.
Yeah, I think Umar wanted to have a conversation about violence when it pertains to children. Except Pete.
Yeah.
You talk to your sound.
You like talking, eh?
Yeah, switch the sound off. And as if
Is it?
You say more to talk about the pain on children.
You know what?
She wanted to have a conversation about violence when it pertains to children, or about corporal punishment when it pertains to children.
On what? On children.
About corporal punishment when it pertains to children. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what more needs to understand is that pain is just as natural as taking a dump. It's just a natural part of life. And then the same thing with trauma. With trauma, we like
and both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them are terrible.
Yeah.
If you don't have them.
Yeah.
If you don't feel pain, it's probably the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Because then, how do you know when you've damaged yourself? No. It's the same with if you don't take a dump. Like, where are the toxins going to go?
Exactly. The same thing with trauma. We like to always speak of trauma as if it's something that is so bad, like as if there is no good trauma. For example, and then if you think of it, there is really like pain or trauma. It actually creates defining moments at every stage whereby we have to move from one stage to another. There's a certain level of pain and trauma that we are going to experience. Because I personally don't think that a child that just came out of the womb of her mother is happy about the conditions outside, for example. Maybe the temperature difference outside. I'm sure that must be painful or some traumatic. And then now you come to the cutting of the umbilical cord. I don't think they laugh when that happens as well. But then it's necessary. It must be done. It's necessary. It's there. It's a process that must be done. It's necessary. It's a necessary trauma. The same as a boy, for example, a boy being separated, being told, okay, now the mother who was loving the child so much, breastfeeding the child, and now having to tell the child that no, you can't drink this anymore. I don't want it anymore. Do you think that's nice? Do you think the child is happy there? And then do you think there's no pain that is happening there? Of course, the child gets heartbroken, and that's a traumatic experience, but then it is necessary for life to continue. And then you go to to initiation, and then you go to issues to times whereby you're going to have to leave your home and then go and live in another place. And then that's also another traumatic experience, because you go and then you live with strangers, and then there's no one close by. And then that's another pain again that you're gonna, and then getting punched in the face for the first time. I mean, it's not something that's nice, but then it's gonna give you a lesson for life. So those are as much as we say that they are traumas, but then they are good because they're for you to be able to transition into another space, into another level of maturity. There is some level of pain. For example, experiencing death for the first time, it's just as natural. It's going to happen to everyone. And then maybe one day you're going to or a heartbreak for the first time. Maybe someday you're going to be you're going to be seeing the face of your dead mother. And it's not going to be something that's nice. But then it is another necessary part of life. And it has to happen. And then we can't be happy forever. So I think the addiction to pleasure, the addiction to having things go smooth and nice, has maybe made us not understand the fact that some of the things are just some of the pains that we experience are just part of life, and then they need to happen. And then we shouldn't go around saying, why me, why me, why me? So the same thing for the child. It is necessary. I do understand that things can be abused. Of course, there are people who have abused power. There are people who have there are people, just as there are countries that have bombed other countries, that have thrown nuclear bombs in other countries and wiped out their cities. There are people that have abused power where they do not need to abuse it, and then that is sad. But then it's just part of humanity. It's just part of who we are as people.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't take you out, it's necessary. Yeah. Well, she says that what you're talking about is not what you're talking about. I invited her on to come on and then switch her video off because she says she's I don't know, playing with something she doesn't want us to see, so she can mute the video and she can have her say. But I'm pretty sure she's not going to do that either. So
she doesn't want to join us.
Yeah, she said she wants to. Let's see what she says now. Yeah, Vishal also wanted to come on. He said he was driving. He was 5 minutes away, and it's been 10 minutes. So I don't know how far he's been driving. But yeah,
maybe she's driving in reverse.
But yeah, man. Yeah, it's pretty. I don't even know what we've not talked about. Like we've talked about everything from sex to gender roles to race to. Well, what have you not talked about? It's everything, man.
I know we've talked about everything, any and everything.
with other people, with some people, without people.
Yeah, I think what we have.
She said tomorrow night now.
I think what we have not talked about is the what you call. I've seen a rise in young boys dating old people these days. so
maybe it's like COVID.
So I think COVID and unemployment are actually starting to rear their ugly heads. I've seen a lot of young men. No, I was working at a mall yesterday.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the day before yesterday. And then I could see them. This people can be mother and son. Like, and then it was quite packed. It was as if they all told each other, no, let's go and then meet there. Let's go and take our young boys to this place. And then you could see that there's some romance in the air here. And then this is not mother to son relationship. These are boyfriend and
someone actually said to me today. Someone said to me today they were also like in their 60s actually.
Yeah.
Female, and she was saying like in movies, it's portrayed that if a female is that old, generally if they're not with someone, a guy that's of the same age, then they're with someone that's really younger. And that's because it makes biological sense in the sense that they kind of both need each other, and also they're on the same spectrum when it comes to like libido and drive and shit like that, and carelessness and all that. Because the one's kind of facing, well, now I've raised the kids that I want to raise now, and I can now have my life back and have my 20s back. So therefore, I can be as reckless as possible and as reckless as I want. And also the fact that I'm old enough to now just say, you know what, fuck it. Like, yeah, I'm about it's closer to death, let's say. Whereas the younger kids, obviously, the younger boys are in their 20s and they're thinking, yeah, why not? I don't have to have all the problems that, my age group brings and even the slightly older ones brings. And also there's no there's no possibility of having kids or having consequences
So
of
basically, it's a perfect match.
yeah, exactly.
Aligned.
Yeah.
They both don't want to have kids. They both don't want to marry each other at the time, because the other one is probably divorced or has been married, and then the other one is not even thinking about it. And then they're also both. This one is young, dumb, and full of cum, and then this one is this one this one this one this one also has got itchy parts, and then now it becomes a perfect match, basically. But then now, if we say, and if we agree, which I agree, I can't dispute that. If we say that basically that's the perfect setup, basically. That this one.
But if you have it the other way around,
Yeah.
if you have it the other way around,
Yeah.
when you have an older man and a younger woman, then you always have the possibility of having kids and marriage and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then which also makes sense, because now the man probably has worked long hours and enough to actually afford kids. He's got the money to afford kids, probably has lesser and much more flexible hours. And then this one as well, even though she might not want kids, but then she's at her extremes in terms of fertility. She's extremely fertile. She has got the energy to raise the kids. And then so it's basically a perfect match again on this side. But
almost, maybe society as well wouldn't allow that. Also, the parents as well might not allow that. You might be shunned. Also, your kids are going to be what? You're going to have to raise them for about 18, 21 years with the parents. So what is the likelihood of that other parent being around or even being able to take part in the child's upbringing as well? So the having the kid is kind of a, and also biologically, I mean, being that old as well, how good are your genes at that age as well? And so there's also that problem when it's the other way around. So as much, and then obviously, like I said, again, it's like if you're in your mid-20s as a female, you're going to be chilling around other females as well that are in their mid-20s. And then how many mid-20 females are going to want to see your 60 or 55-year-old man? So you're probably going to have to hide him, or maybe chill with other females chill with other females that are going to have males that are around the same age, right? So might be tricky in that sense. Whereas for a guy, you just go, no, you stay at home. I'll chill with the boys, with my boys as usual. We don't have to have chicks around. I don't know.
interesting.
And then also, like I said again, you don't have the added factor of having kids with the older woman, and you can still have, say, a girlfriend or someone that you care about, have kids with them. And more than often than not, the other woman will just care about actually you paying attention to her and being there, not necessarily providing her with children. Yeah. Who is this? Is this your contact?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's this? Is this your contact? This person here.
Who?
This person requesting to come on.
No, I don't know. I'm not that famous, man.
I don't know these people. Let me just check if. Okay. I'll accept them. Is it gonna be? Okay, never mind. Maybe he made a mistake. But yeah. Anyway, so I don't. Maybe the opposite way. Like I said, having a younger guy and an older woman works out a bit better. But the other way around is it's a bit trickier because you have the possibility of kids and you have the possibility of your whole life ahead of you. Especially when you want to then build a career and all that. A guy can pretty much say, look, I'm going to be with an older female and then build my career through that until when I'm ready, I just say, okay, cool, that's it. Now I can go and date someone younger and have a family there, and I'll be well established.
Yeah.
So maybe it's easier for guys that way.
But yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think you know, for every topic that we talk about, basically makes me realize the privilege that we have, and the privilege that we have created in society, the privilege that we have, for example, as men, and then again, considering the fact that now these things that you're talking about, they're even more practical. I mean, I can't imagine how hard it would have been for boys, for example, in the earlier, not too early, in the earlier ages, in the earlier what do you call, maybe the last century, how difficult it must have been for them, because remember, the relationships like these were not common. Relationships whereby young men have to date older women were not so common. Like right now, it's almost as if it's a fashion now. And then, but on the other side, the men on the other side, the men were older on the other side. They had their way. They had their way because of the resources that they had. Even though the society would say, "Oh, okay," and they had the resource. So it must have been tough being a young man, because that means that you're not gonna get pussy. You're not gonna just get pussy. You either have to get married, or you either have to get married, or you just have to wait it out. You just have to wait, and then it must have been difficult. Yeah.
You have to wait your turn.
Yeah, you have to wait. You have to wait.
But then, even waiting though is not really a bad thing, because then you can be as reckless as possible. Because you then concede that you're not in a sexual selection game.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that, that takes a huge weight off your shoulders. And then you can then become as reckless as possible. You can explore as much as you want with yourself. Because then you really have nothing to lose then. And then when that day comes, it comes. It will come whenever it comes. But then how do you then do that as a female? It's like, at how much reckless can you be? And with whom? Right? Because you're always going to be wanted.
Yeah. And you can't.
There'll always be someone that wants to be with you, even if they're with someone else. There'll always be someone that wants to be with you. Whether you want to be with them or not is your choice. But it doesn't take away the fact that there'll always be someone that wants to be with you. Whereas with a male, it's like, if you're young and unemployed and ugly and introverted and can't do much, no one's gonna want you. But how are they gonna even get to you? Because what use are you to them? What value do you add?
Yeah.
Whereas with a female, it's like, life is value, because you come with the possibility of being able to produce children.
A very, 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 very important power that people are now taking for granted. And then
I think it's even probably the biggest power.
Yeah.
Probably bigger than pain, because even if you're in pain and you have a sexual drive, that pain goes away.
That's true. That's true.
And you know how powerful a painful drive is, man. Pain will make you do things like we just talked about now that you would have never thought before.
Yeah.
But now, how about you add some sexual drive in there too? Then you go, Then even pain becomes pleasure. Like if it doesn't go away, sexual drive will just add it to itself and say, cool, now let's have both of them together. But you will definitely feel that sexual urge.
Speaking of pain being pleasure, I was watching this other documentary of a guy from Mauritania. He was held in Guantanamo Bay, where he was tortured for many years. I think they mistaken him for a terrorist, and then he was.
Oh, that guy that video that you shared on the group.
Yeah. Oh, I think yes.
The video that you shared on the
group. Yes. I think that one.
Yeah.
Yes. Whereby he was talking about being tortured for so long that he started looking at his torturers as if they are God, as if they are God, as if he would remind them if they did not torture him. Honestly, he would remind them if they did not torture him on some days that, oh, okay. And then he started actually getting to the point where he was actually drawing pleasure from that. And then I think that shows how powerful a human mind can be, and also how fragile at the same time a human mind can be. That you can actually be conditioned to the point whereby you now look at pain as pleasure, and as your duty, as something that must be done to you. And then
it's crazy. And that's what I say. I think that drive is stronger than any other drive, because at the end of the day, I think it's because nature puts it there, and it's for us not to be extinct. So it's like any other drive or any other thing that you connect to it. It's like you will always need to feel that pleasure, because that pleasure comes together with the fact that then we will not be extinct. Which is why, again, with all these, any sexual acts or anything like that, that pain would be painful if you're not doing that act. But now, because you're in that act, that pain also then becomes pleasure.
Yeah, it becomes a spice.
It's a bit unclear.
Yeah.
It becomes a spice. It becomes.
Yes. Another thing is that I think when it comes to something like torture, or if you do it often enough, it then binds itself to that. And then you almost kind of get to a point where you actually can't feel pleasure if you don't feel that pain with it. Yeah, because then like what you're saying now, then you start to remind someone.
Would you say the same? Would you say the same happens with slavery, for example?
Yeah, if it gets to a point where you really don't like it, it almost comes full circle. Where you then say, well, then if I don't like it this much, I'm not going to kill myself. I might as well start liking it. And then you find ways in which you like it, or you start to attach it to something with pleasure. And then you become like, that's Munchausen syndrome, right? Oh wait, no, that's Stockholm syndrome. Sorry, where you just kind of fall in love with your captor.
Yeah,
maybe, man. It could be. It's like I said. I don't think anything's more stronger than that drive. It's like, people die for it. People die for that pleasure. Because, and that's almost like, I think that's also kind of the most ancient thing that we have, is the drive of sexual selection. Like, that will overpower anything. Right? That's the reason why you do most of the things that you do.
Yes.
That's the reason why you fight. That's the reason why you happy. It's like, it's nature just put it there and said, cool, you want to live your life, do what you want, but just make sure that we don't end. Yeah. Hey, what's up, boy? You back, boy?
Yeah, I'm back. I had someone in the car with me, and I didn't want to get on the live thinking like they just look at me like.
Okay.
You never know. They might disagree, and I might get a left hook while driving. They might go, oh shit. Nah, I disagree with this guy completely, and just go cross.
Was it a girl?
What?
Was it a woman?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. I know it was. It was.
You thought you thought
it was.
No. It wasn't.
You thought he was. You thought he was.
Don't put me on spot.
That's also one of the reasons why. I think that goes back to what we were saying with the Mr. P. Is that's also one of the reasons why a lot of guys just generally don't want to then express or say whatever they feel, because to be in the game of sexual selection is more important than expressing your opinion. So you don't want to be shut down or cancelled. You'd rather still be in the game.
You just say what they want to hear.
Yes, exactly, and have those feelings intact, rather than say what you feel, whether it's truthful or not, but then be eliminated and you're no longer part of that game.
Yeah.
So it's like why simps are simps? It's like, look, I'd rather not tell her that I don't like her, or I don't like this, or this is how I feel.
But
then, I mean, obviously that comes at a huge cost.
But I think to some extent, then that ends up working against the Sims, because now it ends up working against, because they are now cornered into a situation whereby, because as much as we know that that's what women want to hear, but they also want to experience some kind of adversity, because they also want to experience some kind of adversity from you. And then now, for example, okay, it's part of the reason. It's part, I think.
That's the thing.
Yeah, but I think it's part of the reason why. It's part of the reason why maybe Sims overdo it, because the reason why, for example, you would have men going on pussy marches, men going on feminist marches, men going on and then you got, at the end of the day, you find that, or men getting in the friend zone, men getting being put in, not putting the women in the friend zone, being put in the friend zone. And then that becomes sad, because now you find that they actually don't want to be there. They are hoping that they're gonna be there, and then they're hoping that avoiding adversity might be the way to actually win at that. And then yeah, it really becomes sad, because they maybe I think maybe it's a matter of drawing the line. They really don't know when to draw the line, that now you are doing too much, or you are doing too little.
Yeah, but look, what are their choices though? The choice is you say what you feel, and you try to then give adversity, right? Yeah. And even if that adversity is taken truthfully or taken well, you still might be shunned. Or even if that adversity is not taken well, you definitely be shunned. So you have that option. And the other option is, well, let me not say anything, and if she's going to hear adversity, at least it won't be from me. Yeah. So if my boy says it, then at least I can say, hey, whew, finally someone said it, but it's not me. So I'm not going to cancel myself out of this conversation. Yeah. So that's why you find a lot of guys are like that. Then they'll get to a point where they say, I'm definitely not going to be eliminating myself. I'd rather play it safe. Even this safe is not really guaranteed, but it's still better than the other option that I have. Yeah. And then if this person, at some point, this person will have adversity at some point, one way or another, but it's not going to be from me. Because if it is from me, then I'm gone. It's like Will Smith, man. It's like at least now the world can then kind of, jump on Jada and tell him that he's a simp, and she can hear the truth from someone else. But if he said it, he's going to get beaten up at home, bro.
It's very sad to be that guy, especially in this recent weeks. It's very, very sad. But as I'm saying, yeah. But as I say, even with him, to be honest, I've always looked at him as someone who's overcompensating. It's like someone who I think it, as much as I'm sad
with major insecurities.
Yeah, I think as much as I'm sad that he did what he did, but part of me is also happy that at least maybe finally he couldn't handle the pressure of having to sound the part, to look the part, to fit in, and everything. Yeah. I'm happy for him that happened, even though it might have happened in another way. I think there could have been other ways in which he could have maybe allowed that to explode, but then not in that kind of setup. But I'm happy for him. But I've always looked at him as someone who's overcompensating. He always looked like someone who's trying. Who, I don't know if you have seen people who spend who idolize their mothers to the point whereby they think that their mothers can't be wrong, and then, or people who are so obsessed over the rights over women's rights in such a way that
Blinded.
then women can't be wrong. So to me, he always appeared as someone like that, like someone who towed the line, you see. And then that is problematic. That can be problematic in the long run, especially if you are also handling the pressure that he's handling at home. Because I mean, the guy is no, it's very sad to him at this point in time.
But yeah, and even with those people, man, like even if you can look at your mom and dad and think that they're godly, I think it gets to a point sometimes where they get to you, they do something wrong or whatever that you don't like, but you even suppress that because you don't want someone else on the outside to see it. But you know that it is not right. And you then still need to feel that. So then you'll still shun them and say, oh, no, you know what, look, I know that my mom shouted at the waiter and my mom can never be wrong, but then I would just kind of put her in a little corner and say, hey, mom, you don't do this here. No, it wasn't her fault. She did. You try to make up stories for it, but deep down, because you don't want the outside to see it, but deep down you know that, hey, my mom's crazy. And more often than not, you then end up to be that person. And then people won't then be scared to tell you that.
I actually hope he dumps the wife. I really hope he breaks up with the wife and then leaves the family.
I think the opposite even. I think he has to be there. Because I mean, especially when it's that far gone. Like, who's he going to go to? Like, who's going to take him?
Exactly. What's he going to do now?
Yeah, what's he going to do if he leaves her? Who is he if he leaves her? I don't even know who he is, man. But like, you know, when you get to situations like that, it's like who will be able to take you that is not like that?
Maybe someone who idolizes him.
Yeah, who's gonna rock up and be like, oh yeah, I idolize you.
What I find funny is like in that situation, it's like people who idolize him are so blinded by the fact that what he did was wrong. And the fact that, you know, as a comedian, you know, that is his job. And this man just fucking thought he had every right to go and do that. I
don't even think that they're blinded by it. I think that they know that what he did is wrong, but they know that because they wouldn't do it. So you know that it's wrong if you wouldn't do it.
See, that's it.
Right?
It's like until they're put in that situation, they don't know.
Yeah, but even then, it's like they're encouraged. It's like someone that encourages you to go and punch someone else or to go and drink jugs of alcohol. They know that they wouldn't do it because they'll fall sick, but they want you to do it because they want you to do it so that whatever pleasure that they have inside can go through you. But then you'll suffer the consequences. So it's not like they don't know it, because if they did know it, they will do it. It's like people aren't crazy, bro. Like they know exactly the consequences of what you would be doing because they picture themselves doing it. And then they go, no, I don't think
it doesn't align with.
But I know someone that will be. But I know someone that'll do it, or he'll do it. Let me call him. Then you call him and you say, hey, look, bro, let's go shoot this place up. It's like you don't call your mom to go and shoot a place up. You call your other rival gangsters, right? You call your other rival gangsters or other people that you know would do it. But you don't call the people that you know that wouldn't do it because they would know that it's not supposed to be done. So you call this person and you go there, right? And then what happens? More often than not, you expect them to actually do it more than you, or to at least empower you to do it with them, so that you know that whatever trouble that you get in, they get in it as well. Or they get into trouble and you don't. And then you'll say, oh, look, I'll support you and I'll come bring you cakes and cigarettes and whatever it is in jail. So, yeah, it's not like it's whoever follows him. It's like, it's because you know that you wouldn't do it. So you want someone else to do it on your behalf because you know the consequences. And that's fucking selfish.
And like, obviously, what I don't understand is like, obviously this man is publicly, he tries to portray that they have the perfect relationship when everyone knows they don't. Right, him and Jada, because it was already like they had this whole thing going on when a friend of someone's was with Jada for a while, and Will took it really badly. So obviously their relationship isn't perfect. So it's like he's there thinking, so do I get in her better graces by doing this, or will she be happy with me now if I do this? And there's so many things behind it.
And
it's
and
so
the fact
strange.
that they made the fact that they made it they made it public to begin with. It's almost as if now he has to publicly also kind of he has to publicly then find his balls. And it's like, well, now
exactly, because he's lost them publicly.
Exactly.
He's publicly lost them.
Yeah,
So he has to find them back.
Exactly. He lost his balls in public, and he's trying to get them in public. Because if he gets them in private, no one is going to see that he got them, because they're still in public. In public, they're still out there. And I think, yes, I agree with you. That is.
And he's a public persona.
Yes, and
and he's a public persona, so the public, it really matters to him.
Yes.
It's like if he does a movie, he doesn't really care if that movie is only internal, because it's the sales that make a difference. So then he has to publicly get acknowledgement of them. It's the same with a comedian when they make a joke. It's like if it's a good joke to him, it doesn't matter. It needs to be a good joke to the audience, and then he says,
"Ah, that was a
really great joke." Yes.
That is very true.
But you could have dumped the wife. You could have dumped the wife, but divorced. I think maybe he's scared of being stripped, and then they will stripped of everything that he. But you could have done the wife and then started dating hot chicks, and then he was gonna get more street credit than trying to slap some comedian on stage.
Well, I mean, also in his defense, being a male is not the easiest thing to do when to dump your wife. So I think when he even if he considered that, it's like, no, not a chance. The woman will get 60% custody to begin with as a default. So you already have probably lost the kids. And then on what basis are you gonna dump her on? And then where are you gonna go with if you lose like 10 years out of your life? Because they're gonna take whatever, half of your there's just so much of a trauma financially and mentally, and also like, how would you even recover with that on top of trying to recover from this? So these choices weren't that great, and that's where most guys come in. It's like even if you're in a loving relationship and something happens and you want to divorce your wife, it's like even if like you're not like Will now, like what are you gonna do? You've created your whole life with this person, and especially for males, man, like. When you make that decision, you really make that decision, because you're not really forced to, unless obviously it's an arranged marriage or anything like that. But like, you're not really forced to. So when you make that decision, you really make it. And then to say, "Oh, I made a bad decision 10 years ago, 15 years ago," it takes a lot out of you. And then you go back 20 years, because then, especially when there's kids involved, then it's just, it'll wipe you off at the knees, right? So it's almost like it's never an option. That's why some guys just choose to say, let's stay for the sake of the children. You can do whatever you want to do, and I'll do whatever I want to do. But there's too much more to lose than to actually just break up or to divorce. And then we'll just live separately, or we'll live in the same household, or whatever it is. And then there's friends involved, and then there's social workers involved that are probably also going to be like, postmodern feminists as well, that will always then say, it's probably the guy's fault, and and then you get things like, well, the woman can then just rock up and say, hey, you were doing some stuff with the kids, and then you're fucked. They will lie on you, and then you're screwed. So there's so much more to lose. I was watching a movie now, even with what's his boy's name, with Ben Affleck, and there's something similar to that. Yeah, something similar to that, where he doesn't divorce his woman, and she goes around just having affairs, and he's not fine with it, but like, it's like, what other option do you have? Because you have a child, you have a family, you made this decision. She wants to then break up, but if you break up, that you're the sole breadwinner, and all these things. So when you break up, you lose almost everything. And you lose your ego and your friends and your family and your status. That's very crucial. Even if you don't want to be with other people, it's like, where are you going to start? So, yeah, it eats at you. Now, how much more of you Will Smith and you in public like that?
Do you think that is one of the things that made him do it?
What?
The fact that he was so like he was embarrassed publicly because of Jada's actions that he made that led up to that.
But
Even though it was a while back.
I hear what you're saying, Lou. So I hear what you're saying, Lou, and then, but then I still think that at this point, I think at this point, this is a matter of life and death for him.
Yes, yes.
The matter of life and death.
Because of public opinion.
120% agree with you.
Yes. So he
because of public opinion.
Yeah.
Means everything to him.
Okay.
Yeah,
because of public opinion.
Exactly. And not only because of that. I mean, that man is humiliated. That man has to deal with humiliation on a daily basis. And then the only thing that can actually solve it, that can actually save him from that humiliation, is leaving the world. The millions, she can take the 60%. She can even take 80% if she wants. But then at least she will leave. He will leave after that. He will be able to leave. Right now, that man can't leave. Every coming August, it's gonna be a reminder of his pain. Every time Chris Rock stands, it's gonna be a reminder of goes and makes it go. It's gonna be a reminder of his pain. Every time the wife changes the hairstyle, right? Let's say now she decides that now she's gonna wear wigs. It's gonna remind him of, like, there is really nothing that's gonna happen in that family that he's not gonna get affected by. If the son decides that no, I want to gender transition now, I wanna have a half ball, I wanna have one ball and a vagina, and then it's also gonna come to him again. If he says he wants to make a surgery whereby he can have one ball and then create his own gender that no one knows about, that wasn't there before, and then it's gonna be his problem. If anything that happens in that family is gonna, until he decides to leave. That is the sad part. And then I honestly don't think that at this moment, at this point in time, we should actually be worried about the money. I think it is easier to recover the lost money than to recover life. But right now, it should not be shocking you after maybe 5 or some years, if he's still with that woman, to hear something like a story like that. Maybe Will Smith is on drugs, or Will Smith is going through some severe depression of some sort, or is going through some emotional imbalance, or he has turned violent even at home, or there's just too many things. And then it's either prison or it's either prison or the grave for him. Right?
Yeah,
it's really
his situation. It's exactly like that almost. Yeah. It's like his situation. His choices are bad and worse.
Yes.
So
lose situation.
Good choice.
Yes.
Yeah, lose. Yeah.
So it's
sometimes better than being dead.
No, he must leave. I personally believe that he must leave. He must just leave and then go and then start his own life with the. But
the thing is that if he files for divorce, he loses a lot there as well financially.
It's fine. It's fine. You know, guys, it's fine.
But the thing is that when you're up there, money and people's opinion is all you care about. So it's like him having to go through divorce now after dealing with all the other shit. He's gonna think,
maybe that's even more important to him than his life.
Exactly. Hey, I'm telling you, these Hollywood guys, bro, money is everything to them. They would,
if he cared about his life, he probably would never have done that.
These guys will read the script and know it's absolutely shit, and then ask, how much am I getting paid? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll sign off right now. They do shit movies. They just take that bag, bro. And the fact that money is everything to them, and now he's basically publicly being embarrassed twice in the past 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's
Maybe
just
he's not even embarrassed, bro.
No,
you never know. He just wants the attention. He just wants the attention.
I think you're onto something there. Because right now, what might even happen, we might see him actually trying to capitalize That's how much they love money. He might even try to capitalize from this situation. You may find another movie about him, about his life that details how he ended up getting to the point whereby it, and then they know that people who can will sell. And then the thing is that she's also married. He's also married to a demo. That if she can come and then say, you know what, let's try to make fun, because they think like politicians. It's just that with politicians, attention is not necessarily money that they're after, it's votes. So to them, votes is currency, because votes, they can then cash out votes into money. Because with politicians, for everything, for every publicity, they actually think, oh, okay, now this is happening. How can we turn this into our favor? And how can we capitalize on this and instead get more votes on this? So even with him, you may find out that there's going to be some documentary about his life and his family. Whereby you
100%. Give it another year or two.
Yeah.
It'll be out.
And Chris Rock will be the narrator.
Yeah, Chris Rock will be the narrator, and then
he'll be involved as well. He'll be like,
that's how he's gonna get his cut. That's how he's gonna get his cut.
That's gonna get the biggest sales.
Yes. Then once
anything for the money, anything for the money.
And they'll release it in snippets.
Yes.
In snippets, so you have to keep buying and subscribing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I really think that's how they're gonna do it. And then maybe Netflix and other what you call, is it the distribution companies or whatever they are called. They've cancelled them. But then I think even them, they're also money mongers as well. If they sit down and then, or some junior there who's very, very fierce and then wants to make money in the industry, comes and then pitches the ideas that no, let's not cancel these people. Let's actually call them. Let's capitalize on this. If we do something about this, it's gonna kill. It's gonna make money for generations. For generations, and then that's probably what's gonna happen, because that's how life works out there. Is with these people.
Yeah. That's exactly it, man. Yeah. It's like even during racist or apartheid times, if you can show someone that you will be able to be beneficial to them and their company, then they will leave their racism and sexism and they will employ.
It's conditional. The racism is conditional. Yeah. That is why even current, if you check at the top, they have actually people they've actually traded, because in most cases the most racist part of any group actually the bottom part. For example, the bottom white people, the white people at the bottom, the black people at the bottom, all races that are actually at the lowest social class. That's where the racism is concentrated, because the ones that are higher,
and it's normally the people in the same group as you.
But then the ones that are higher, then racism does not really matter there, because they can pay money. They can pay money to cash it. They can pay money to actually cash what society points, or they can just buy it out of you. They can just come and then say, oh, you are racist. Oh, okay, let's work together, and then from there everyone forgets everything, and then from there, because I think because the same way you see how top athletes, black or white or whatever, then you find that they almost as if racism doesn't apply to them. Or even the guys who are I'll make an example with Zuma, for example. We had President Zuma. They may tell you on TV, but then when they were actually meeting the Zuma and then in person, they were thinking, oh, okay, this guy is the state president, and almost at that moment, all the racism is set aside, because now they are actually realizing, okay, here we are interacting with a person of power. It is very important that this person knows me before we can entertain any kind of racism. So yeah, I think if you are rich, you can be able to afford.
Yeah, you don't even have to be rich, man. Yeah. You just have to have your focus aligned to that. It's like even the NBA or the NFL owners, they realize that, look, man, like, and I said this before, like, they might be the most racist people on the earth. You'll never know. But if they understand that, okay, business comes first, they need to make cash, and that, let's say, black people or Hispanic people are better at the sport than other white people, they don't care. They'll just put all black people, then they'll tell them, hey, look, LeBron's good, right? LeBron's the best. You better pick him. And even if LeBron takes the knee and I don't really like taking the knee and I'm against it, LeBron can take the knee because I need him. So LeBron can take all the knees if he wants. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly that. So at the end of the day is that they're not there focused for that. The focus is not there for that. It's legit. We're trying to move forward. And if the people that stay back are the ones that then have those things become an issue for them, and they say, no, we're not going to. It's like, it's same with sexism. It's like you don't find sexism in a company that wants to move forward. They don't care about that. If you're a female and you can do the job better than the male, you get the job. Or if you're black, or if you're 6'7", or if you, whatever it is, you get the job. Because it's about what the productivity will be, or what the outcome will be of you getting that job.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether they might be sexist and all that, and they might hate you as, or your thought process or your political process, but then it's like, cool, I'll hate that after you make me money. And that's it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, boys. Yeah, man. It's been a while since we had this alive.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, bro.
Some
Where you
people-
at,
Me?
For sure.
Yeah, I'm out, bro. I'm actually waiting for a person to come through. It's a payday, bro. These guys, go pay them.
Yeah. You always have to, exactly. Say, I don't care who you are. Just need to pay them, right?
So,
Yeah.
They don't care who you are. They don't care what your belief system is or whatever. You're a racist, if you're homophobic, you need to pay them.
yeah, exactly. Money, bro. Money.
The universal language that what everyone understands it, and then it's one thing that can basically end the conversation or start the conversation. Can end there and then start there. Everyone understands it. You can hate me or whatever, as long as you pay me, I'm good. In fact, if you,
I mean, most times you don't even know who the people that are paying you are.
yes.
It's like you don't
Exactly.
know
Some of these, no joke, some of these guys haven't even seen me. They don't even know who I am.
Exactly.
So it's like, they'll come here, they'll call my number, be like, where are you? I'm like, bro, I'm right here. I'm right here, bro. Okay. So that's where my money was. Okay, I'll be waiting 1 hour, 2 hours. Nah, I need my money, bro. I need my money. Bro, I'm telling you, there's been people I've told them, hey man, I can only make it in another 2 hours. They're like, okay, no problem. I'll wait.
Don't stress. I'll be right here.
I'm like, maybe I might be a bit late. 2.5 hours, maybe 3. Nah, bro, I'll be here.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting, bro. I'm not going anywhere without my money. That's a fucking joke, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. But I mean, at the end, you can understand why. At the same time, it's the reason why we leave our families. You know, people that we say we love and we care and adore for, to go to other places and try to make ends meet there, because we all understand that, you know, you kind of need that to be able to at least give them a decent present and future. Otherwise, you being there and not being able to provide that, they will even tell you to fuck off and go make a living. So even if you say, no, I want to chill with you and I want to stay with you and I love you and I'm not going to go work, they'll say, hey, look, I'm starving, bro. So I think you better leave and go find a job, because you're not worth anything to me if you're not. Yeah, you're not worth anything to the family if you're there. That's why most guys don't. That's why most guys don't get that respect or the say in any family if they don't go out there and hustle. Because then who's going to do it if they're not doing it? It's like as soon as you make money, all of a sudden people then they respect your authority. But you've always had the authority. You never changed. All you did was just work. Yeah, you just woke up at 7 in the morning and then you came back at home at 6. They don't care.
And then once you also, I think even you, before you even blame other people again, I think even you yourself, after you make money, you then start having authority over yourself as well. That's where you also realize that no man.
Yes, that's the biggest thing. Yes, because then you start to personally set yourself apart, and you start understanding how much say you have, and how much say you can have, right? Because then that's when you, that's when you can then say to someone, you can go fuck yourself.
Yes.
When you really mean it, because you know that then you're able to then take that as it's not a loss to you, because you can just move on. But if you have nothing, then you start to have pain when you say, I can't tell Bashar to fuck off because Bashar has my money and I need it, even though I feel that. So it takes a certain part of you away. That's why when you look at certain parts, or you look at certain situations whereby you might lose, let's say 50% of your net worth, you don't really look at the monetary part of it. You look at all the other shit that you lose. Then all of a sudden you're not going to be at the company that you're at. You're not going to get that same respect. You can't then say certain things that you would be able to say. You can't then, you have to then take a bit more shit than you would when you would have. All those things, and they matter more perhaps than the money. That's why it's tough. So that's why certain people just turn a blind eye and they say, nah, you know what, I'd rather not. I know that this shit is happening at work, but you know what, let me keep quiet, because if I lose the status there, then I lose status in society. Then I can't just tell my landlord to go fuck himself, because where am I going to go?
Exactly.
It's tough.
Yeah, man.
It's tough.
I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Jim Carrey said this. He's publicly said that he's retiring, and this was like a shot at people at Hollywood. It's like one thing you never hear from Hollywood is the actors or the people working. They never say they have enough. They never go like, okay, I've done enough. I have enough. And what he said was like, I'm going to retire. I've made enough. I've done enough. I am enough. There is no point just, at this age, like it's like Will Smith. When was the last time he'd done a good movie? He's done so many. It's like the ratio has dropped to such shit levels. He's done so many shit movies in the past couple of years than actual good ones. He's just signed, okay, bag, all shit movies. And it's one of them, like, why? It's like, you made millions. What's another 5 million gonna do to your fucking 250 million net worth? Like, what are you gonna do with all that money? You've got fucking investments in other companies and stuff. You have a steady income. What more do you want? And the fact that they crave, they hold on to like leeches to public attention.
It's power. It's power. It's addictive.
Relevant.
It's addictive.
It's an endorphin kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you might have 15 million, but this is still the next paycheck. So that's an endorphin kick. You still want it. It's like posting something that like your best picture.
Yeah.
You post it and then you go, okay, this is amazing. I really feel like this is great. And then you go, now that means that I need to go look for that again.
Yeah.
I need to make another kick, get another kick, kick. It's a consequence of being human as well, I guess.
It's a very, very...
But then that becomes sad. Actually, that linking that to
Stuff.
to having, but that maybe that also explains why men become so repulsive to women who like money, is because it's the fear of that as well. That if I date this one and then now she wants this money and then she gets addicted. Even if I'm rich, she's a gold digger. Even if I'm rich, I can afford it. And then she's gonna keep putting this pressure on me. And then I'm always gonna have to go and then find more. And then she's gonna come and tell me about men who have got more than what I have. And then now I'm going to be under this internal pressure to go and make more, and then make more, and then make more. If I stop and say that I'm okay now, and then she's going to go to a guy who's not going to stop, who's going to say, she's stopping, I'm only beginning. I'm only beginning. So I think it tells the reason, it actually clarifies the reason why men why men would date such women, but then when it comes to marriage, they would go and then take some basic girl who's boring, some basic girl who's boring, and then from there try to
stick with the high school sweetheart. Yeah, they'll stick with the high school sweetheart because at least you knew me before this. And even if I'm on the rise, if I do fall, you know me there. Yeah.
So
yeah, you have that's loyalty, right? Yeah, because the ones that I picked up on the way, as soon as I go lower than what I was, they now go, oh, what the fuck? Because at the end of the day, that's your status is what they wanted you for, and now when you lose that status, then why would they still be with you? It's exactly that.
It's violating me, bro. What the fuck? Brie, fuck off. Go spend time with your family. It's Ramadan. Go find something better to do.
Yeah, man. That's also something that's not talked about, right? That's also the thing that's not talked about is that like if you women go for men that like to cook, that men that can provide status. So what happens when you lose your status? It's like, well, what
see, that is a very interesting thing for you to say.
I think the funny thing, the funny thing about if you have actually watched this show, it's I blew it. I'm sure you have heard of it if you've watched it. It's a South African show about women about people who some won the lottery, and then they then decided that they then count the money. They didn't count the money as quickly as possible, and then well they didn't think that the money was going to end. That's the most common thing in all those stories. So it's funny because it's funny because when they have the money, in fact, I don't know even I'm sure you have also had your moments whereby you had money and then you had a party, and then in that party you saw women that you don't know where they come from. You're like, okay, and then you ask her, where do you come from? And then she tells you, no, I'm from Hammanskraal, and then you are like, that place is from. So how did you end up here? It's almost as if they can smell it. They can smell, okay, money is that side. And then you find out, okay, you had a party at 3 o'clock. You had a party at your house party at 3 o'clock. And then people have started leaving. And then you're like, no, but there's this girl. And then you ask him, where do you come from? No, I'm from Hammanskraal. So how did you get in? Hammanskraal is like somewhere in the north of Pretoria. Like, okay, how did you get it? And then she'd be like, no, I came here with my friends. Who are your friends? She mentions other girls that you also don't know. That's why you realize, no, man, there's some magic. There's some magic behind money. Actually, we're talking about this with my girlfriend.
Well, look, think about it like that. Like, people move countries for that, right?
Yeah.
People don't even just move cities for that; they move countries.
Yeah.
And we're in the Middle East, bro.
Yes.
Everyone, almost every other person that's here because of that.
Yes.
Right? It's on a different level.
So the funny thing is that, again, when you have got money, and then in fact you should see most guys that have got a lot of money, they will have a lot of sugar babies, like a lot of what you call these girls, the gold diggers. And then as the money goes away, they also get reduced. Like, for example, you find that you will have 16, and then from there, when the money goes down, it's going to be 8, and then maybe 4, maybe, and then they go down. And then when the last one leaves, the last one does not leave when there's no money. They leave when the money is still there. The money, they never leave when you no longer, when you don't have money, when you're on zero. They leave when you are just close, right when you start selling the first car, or when you start selling the first and second car. And then now, because you cannot afford them anymore, and then you start renovating the house, and then you no longer ordering extra cheese on pizza. That's when they leave.
They leave when the conditions get below the level which they arrived in.
Yes.
Even if it's by 20 rand. If they arrive that day, you were buying Coca-Cola, made 3 a day, now you are going to buy 2. They leave. You know it's going down.
Yeah, then you know that.
Yes.
Then you know that.
I mean, that's a trick, right? That's a good trick to use as well, because if they came and you had a little bit, right, and they got there and you then started to rise, they'll still be there. But as soon as you go down, and they don't want you to reach 0, because if you reach 0 and they leave, and you work your way back up, they can't come back.
No.
Right? Because if they come back, because if they come back, then you can say, "Oh, you only you left me when I had nothing." But if they leave and they go, and they before you get to 0, they can leave, and then when you come back up again, they'll come back, and then they'll say, "No, I knew you could do it. I didn't leave when you had nothing. You still had
exactly." And over and above that, it also, remember, the value of the sugar baby, or the value of the gold digger, is tied to the man that she's dealing with. So now, if you go down, and then you go below the level then now you affect her value now, because her resale value, because now she's no longer going to be attractive to the guys that are above you. And then if you are, I don't know if you have not. I mean, you have seen women who were very very pretty, and then desired by every guy. Do you still want them when they start looking dusty and crusty? No, you don't want them. So you don't want them. And then they are aware of that. So they leave.
But that's the difference with males, though, right?
Yeah.
Is that with males, that doesn't really make a difference, right? And with guys, it's like, as long as you can mumble some stuff, I don't care what you say, right? Because sexual selection, for us to be in the sexual selection game, I don't have to stick with you, right? My value doesn't necessarily mean my value that is not necessarily tied to you, right? So you find that guys will never turn down sex, right? Or even if they will, it's like, they probably turn down sex when they have another sexual partner.
Yes.
Right? Whereas a female, it's legit tied to that. It's tied to the fact that if you're down in the dumps and then they are with you, then they will then be on that par as well. And that's primarily because
which is why women always get angry when I say that you cannot ask more than your baby daddy. So your baby daddy becomes the standard of your baby daddy. That's why you have to be very careful about the men that you sleep with, because your baby daddy becomes the standard of the man that you are. I cannot come and
they will swear at you for saying that one.
I cannot come and feed the child of a man who's beneath me. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. That is why you find that the baby daddies, for example, the women, the single mothers who are actually married to rich men, they are likely to attract other rich men when they separate or when the husband dies and stuff. They are likely to attract other rich men, and then. But the one that had a child with Mavusana from Zone 6, and those ones have a problem. Those ones, because now you cannot ask more. They become hopeful that, okay, I want a rich man. I want a rich man to take care of me. But then they never get this rich man. Okay, very, very few actually get that rich man, and they actually have to work hard in order to improve their image.
They have to work harder than they have to hide it.
Yes, because it's hard. It's really hard to actually ask more than your baby daddy, because your baby daddy is the standard that you have set. Because remember, giving someone a child is the highest honor that you can give to any human being on earth. You see, you have given this man, you have allowed this man's seed to procreate, to propagate into the future. So there is no gift that's better than that. That is bigger than that. So your baby daddy, yeah. So your baby daddy becomes your higher, it becomes the highest. That you cannot ask more than that. Because if you come to me and say, no, I want you to be 6 feet tall. I want you to have a seven-figure bank account. I want you to have 7 degrees. But then your baby daddy is Vusi from Zone 6, and then Vusi from Zone 6 didn't finish school, and then Vusi from Zone 6 is not 6 feet tall. There's really nothing that shows that this is actually your type, and then you have decided that no, you're gonna procreate with this guy, and then help his DNA propagate into the future, and then now you want to come and then dictate that the men, now I must come and feed the child of someone who's beneath me. No, it can't happen like that. And it's very, very sad. It's a sad reality, and then it's something that I don't think women will ever accept that, because it's a sad reality of life. It is what it is.
Did you know the worst part? The worst part is that women think that the value is the same after they have a child. I keep on saying this to everyone. The minute you have a child with one, your value goes down culturally, socially. You come to me and expect me to do the same thing that guy you got a baby with was doing. I don't have a baby with you. I can live any day, first of all. Number two, now a baby has came out of you.
What you can't because you're both pregnant.
He said it to him. And I can hear you were saying one. She kept on talking. She was like, well, now both of you are pregnant. What? No, you are pregnant. You're gonna have a big baby for 9 months. I'm gonna progress. I can get 9 babies in 3 days. You can't. You can get 1 baby in 9 months. So the value of a woman is very, very based on if she's got a child or not. The degree of a woman comes. The value of a woman is if she's got a baby or not.
No, the degree doesn't count that much, because it's something that you can have as a man. You can have 5 if you want, and then you can have 10 again if you want. So it's really not an important category on their side, because it's something that you can get.
It isn't. Even with the negotiation, you don't even mention degree.
Yeah.
They just say you're educated. So what? What about me? Because another thing about gender roles, people don't forget one thing. Females want something that's going to benefit them. When we involve this thing of us, equality, if now I'm getting lobola, if I'm going to come and say I'm a revolutionist or I'm a modern person, right? Meaning I don't have to pay lobola to get married to marry you, because I'm also educated. Yeah, but why should a guy pay lobola? Why does it mean?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's why guys avoid that.
Yeah.
That's why you avoid them.
Guys should pay lobola. Based on what? What are you actually paying for? Because if you're going to use, because there's a meme that I saw, né? It says 1 baby minus 10,000. 2 baby minus 10,000. Yeah, bro? No degree minus 10,000.
Actually,
Go to zero.
Actually,
We are going to
Wait, Wisham.
no, actually, after one baby, it should be 0.
Die!
Yeah.
No, it should be 0. No, it should be 0. After one baby, it should be 0, because here's what happens. Unless the father of the first child paid something. Because you cannot expect me who wants to marry you and then build with you to pay the same price, to pay something, while the father of the child that paid 0. Basically, so that's why I'm saying that it will depend on whether the father of the first child paid something. If the father of the first child paid something, then it's fine. But then if the father of the first child paid nothing,